Welcome everybody to my latest video. For this video, I'd like to show you guys a couple of arcade related books I picked up. I got these actually a couple weeks ago. I got them from Amazon and I found them really interesting, and if you're into the arcade scene, I would highly recommend getting these books. Now, first one is this one. It's called Arcade Mania: The Turbocharged World of Japan's Game Centers. Now, in case you don't know, unlike in America, where the arcades are for the most part dead, in Japan they're alive and thriving, and this book kind of just gives you a quick tour of what's going on in Japan. Now, this book isn't new, so to speak. I mean, it came out in 2008, I believe. But it gives you a little, like I said, a little tour of some of the things that go on over there. Not only does it talk about current games, at least for the time when this book was released, it talks about games of the past and how the arcade scene kind of started. And I found it's a very easy read. Like I said, just gives you some info, something you might want to look into. It also gives like chapters dedicated to certain people that are apparently well known over there. For example, this girl right here, I don't know, was that her name is Sakurina? I guess she's a model, and she models for these sticker machines that are thriving in Japan. Never heard of her until I read this book, but apparently if they're going to dedicate an entire chapter to her, she's got to be somebody. But it also talks about other types of games, shooters, fighters. Here you got some of the big music machines. Let's see. There's a whole section in here dedicated to Daigo. Of course, that's for the fighting games. But anyways, it gives you an idea of some of the cabinets that are in Japan. There you can see a whole bunch of candy cabinets. I think those are Sega Astro Cities. I could be wrong. There you go. Here's a Street Fighter 4. Gives a little bit of history of the early competition between SNK and Capcom. Here you can see the Neo Geo home console. So it's pretty interesting. I would recommend getting it. Now, here we go. Talking about light guns. That's House of the Dead 4 right there. What else we got here? Oh, there's also some talk about Yu Suzuki. And if you don't know who he is Sega's version of Shigeru Miyamoto. Let's see what else. Anyways, if you get it, pick it up. Easy read. Highly recommend it. And let me go ahead and show you the next book. Okay, here's the next book I got. It's called The Encyclopedia of Arcade Video Games. Now, this was released in around 2004. And I really like this one. It comes in a hardcover book, and basically it's like what the title says. It gives you a little, an encyclopedia-like overview of arcade games. It talks about, the first arcade game, all the way up until I think Mortal Kombat, maybe more. Can't remember. There you go. Computer Space. Right there, I think that was actually the very first video arcade game to be released as a cabinet. I haven't read this one completely yet, but one thing I do like about this, especially in the first chapter, it gives you all the different variations of Pong. I mean, this one's called Paddle Ball, and it plays pretty much the same way as, TV ping pong. There are some differences, but for the most part it's the same. Now, as you go further on, you can see all the different variations of Pong, including the different types of cabinets. And some of these I've never even seen. I mean, they're probably not even around anymore, even in private collections. But it gives you a nice history of the early 70s type games that came out, which, chances are none of us have. And I know I definitely wouldn't want them because they look boring as hell. But, now look at that. That's actually an arcade cabinet. came out around the time Jaws was released in the theaters. Cashed in on the whole, you know, what do you call it? Shark thing going on. Okay, I haven't eaten. I can't think correctly here. There you go. A nice, one of the first sit-down driving games. But anyways, like I said, the first part of the book is like mainly 70s stuff. I know someone who actually has that game, the Fonz. The game's really not that great, but it's like a collector's item. Now the neat thing is, under each cabinet, it gives a little bit of information about the cabinet, and then it has a price here. Now I haven't figured out, like this one says $200 to $350. I haven't figured out if that's how much it cost when it first came out, or if that's how much it's worth when this book was released. But let's jump ahead to some more recognizable stuff. There you go. Space Invaders. Cocktail cabinets. Now the other good thing about this book is if you have a non-dedicated arcade cabinet and you know it was another game before and you just can't figure out which one, this book might actually be able to help you. You know, you can look at the design of your cabinet and compare it to these pictures, and you might be able to find out which game it was originally. I actually helped someone do that the other day. Here we go. Nice sit-down cabinet. So let's jump ahead. Okay, in part 5 or chapter 5, you got the modern era, 1986 to the present, and that's when most of us remember the arcades. And again, look right here, Nintendo's Play Choice 10. I wanted to get one of those. I can never find one that was within my price range. This one says $300 to $400. So again, I don't know if that's how much it cost when it was released, or that's how much it's worth now. But here, Dragon's Lair 2, Title Fight, Terminator 2. I remember that used to be one of my favorite games to play. Anyways, I recommend this book. It's very nicely done, nice, vibrant pictures. It gives you a good, nice overview of some of the various cabinets that have been out there. Okay, where were we? Anyways, it gives a nice overview of, you know, the history of arcade cabinets, and even got little, like tabletop ones right here that you would find in like bars. What else we got? Galaga, Zybots, Mad Dog McCree. This one, was it the hologram game by Sega, Time Traveler, that's what it's called. First time I played that was in Vegas, and I thought it was pretty cool. Now, I don't know if anybody actually has those in their collections. Anyways, you know, this has got my recommendations. It's a nice, it's not really a read, so to speak. Most of the book is just pictures. But, you know, like I said, you might have a cabinet that's not dedicated, and this may be able to help you find out what it was originally. So, there's 2 recommendations for you. Once again, this one's called The Encyclopedia of Arcade Video Games, and my other recommendation, Arcade Mania. So, if you can get them, pick them up. It should be worth your time. So, until next time.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.